Back from the break. If you're just joining, you're watching AM Ghana show right here on Advert TV. You're streaming live on Facebook, Advert TV Ghana, YouTube, Advert TV GH. I am Anastasia Badu. Well, let's move away from the hardship of life now, where Reginald and I were speaking of how expensive things have become and how the cost of living is also very, very expensive. Well, it comes at the back of how the economy is, and of course, the main point or the main cause of all these is still COVID-19, where every government, especially Ghana's government, is blaming COVID-19 heavily for our woes as we have it now. But away from that, today is 28th February, the very last day of February in the year 2022. And of course, the popular 28th February Cross Road that we know that happens every year. There's a ceremony that's held every year here in Accra to remember the three soldiers that were shot during the Gold Coast era. We'll be speaking to a senior citizen, Dr. Abudu, who happens to be the former chief economist of Bank of Ghana, and as well as a ceremony is happening live at the Black Star Square, opposite the Black Star Square. We'll be speaking to Mary Korte, who is stationed there to give us feedback on what will be happening there. But if senior citizen Dr. Abudu is on the line, we want to speak to him quickly to at least refreshen our minds on who these three people are and why we celebrate it. Moving forward, is there a need? Is there any significance? Dr. Abudu, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well by God's grace. How about you?
I'm doing very well indeed. But there's something talking in the background.
I'm sorry about that, but we'll check it. I hope we're able to figure it out very soon, and I hope it doesn't disturb or distract the conversation we are going to have. Does that deter you from hearing me clearly, please?
Uh, well, the reception is not so good,
Okay.
but you go ahead. Well, we'll see how best we can do it.
Okay. All right. So kindly let me know if you don't get something. If something isn't clear, then we can recall and then we see how best that goes. But let's talk about the three soldiers that we always celebrate when it gets to 28th of February of every year. What is there to remember about them? If nothing at all, what is really there to remember them for?
But there's still some, in terms of, can you, I don't know why you have that kind of interference at the background.
Okay, Dr. Abudu. Okay, Dr. Abudu, then give us a few minutes. We want to try again and see. And if it's possible, maybe you might also want to reposition yourself and see how that works as well, as we also work on what is here.
Okay, meanwhile, can I also give you my WhatsApp number? You try it and see whether maybe your voice comes out a little bit better.
Okay, all right. I'm sure my producers heard that, so they'll work on it.
024.
Okay, Dr. Abudu, you don't worry. We'll fix it. Can you please hear me clearly? Hello, Dr. Abudu. Okay, we'll work on it. Whatever the problem is, we'll get to the root of it and we'll speak to Dr. Abudu. We'll bring you an info on that, and also Mary is on standby to inform us on what the ceremony, where it's gotten to, and who are those who are present. If not for anything at all, some years past, we'll know that ex-president or former president the late Jerry John Rawlings would have been present. But well, may he rest in peace. We are still working on the lines to speak to Dr. Abudu. But what do you remember about 28th February? The three soldiers that were shot, Private Udate, Sergeant Ajete, and then the others. What do you remember about it? Well, this is taking us way back into our social studies classrooms for the senior high schools, those who did history and then all that. It's taking us back there. What do you remember about it? Don't forget, like I said earlier, we're streaming live on Facebook, Advert TV Ghana, YouTube, Advert TV GH. You can also send in your comments as well on Facebook, and we'll do what to read. So let's go for a quick turn When we come back, we'll have Dr. Abudu on the line to speak to Anne Mary Kote.
On a hill far away.
Lent is a period of admonishment, fast, giving, self-denial, and remorse. Join us this season on the Lenten Afternoon Meditation live on Adoa TV from Mondays to Saturdays at 12:30 p.m. as these great people of God take us through moments of reflections, meditation, prayer, atonement, purging, and reconciliation with God and one another. Don't miss this opportunity to commune with God for just 30 minutes on the Lenten Afternoon Meditation.
I'll cherish the old rugged cross till my trophy.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and
So at Sonotech, we always pride ourselves on being a patient-centered facility. And so we always go the extra mile to put a smile on the faces of our patients. And we don't just wait for them to be unwell to come to us, but we always strive to ensure that our patients are always in good health. So the month of February is the month of love. And how best can we express our love than to give to our clients? So what we are doing this month of February is to give a 20% discount on all our health packages. Yes, all our health packages. So for our health packages, we have our life packages, and then we have the bronze, the silver, and then the gold packages. So if you walk in from the 1st February to the end of February,
Back from that quick turn, and we apologize for the in and out of um, network issues. We tried connecting to Dr. Abudu, a senior citizen as well and former economist of the Bank of Ghana, speaking on the 28th February celebrations that we have in the country almost every year. Well, Mary Cotta is also on standby to feed us on what is happening at the ceremony as it stands now. But Dr. Abudu, good morning once again.
Good morning, madam.
How are you doing again?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
I'm well. I'm well. We thank God for life. Well, it's good to have you this morning. But as a senior citizen, let me quickly ask of your opinion or ask you if you were older at the time that this particular incident happened and what you can recall from the incident.
Yes, well, the thing is that I was then in my final year for my middle schooling
Mm,
In Tamale.
okay.
And then, of course, after that, it took about 4 more years before I enlisted into the Ghana Police Service. Hello?
Hello, Dr. Abudu, please, I can hear you.
Yeah, come again.
Please, I can hear you.
Yes, I said that, you see, I was then in my I was then in my final year
Okay,
of the middle schooling,
okay,
and then after that, I enlisted into the police. I got into the police as a policeman right about the time when the unit fight movement really started towards Ghana's independence, because there were so many events, which had occurred in that short period.
mm. Well, this was at the back of violence where people thought that they needed some remunerations after the war and they needed some funds to be given to them, which by then the British was holding on to it. And this was what led these three and some other soldiers moving there to demand what was rightfully theirs. Well, this actually caused their lives, that these three people, they opened fire on them and they lost their lives. Well, do you think that from that time right till now, it has paid any price or it has done any good to us as a country and also to our service?
Well, what happened, you see, because I was old enough to know all that was happening at the time. All I remember was that, and of course, as I told you, soon thereafter, not too long after, I became a policeman myself. So it
Okay.
was something which we all got to know. On that particular day, yes, the people, the ex-policemen, were marching. I think it was on a Saturday. They were marching to the castle
Mm-hmm.
to present a petition,
Yeah.
requesting that the British government kept its promise to give them certain kinds of benefits, jobs, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
After the war,
Yeah.
the Second World War came to an end. Now, when they got to the crossroads, Christopher Crossroads, that's where the police were there to stop them from continuing to the south.
Mm.
Now, at that time, the policeman who was immediately in charge of them was one Inspector Ika Kajeta. Most people don't even remember his name now, but he played a very important function at that point, because when he was asked by the British police officer, one Colin Emery, he shoot at them. He gave a command that the police were to shoot above their head. And he gave it in Hausa because most of the policemen were illiterate, but they spoke Hausa. So he said, I took a picture, which he shoot above their head.
Mm.
So when he shot above the head, and Colin Powell did not see any of them fall, he gave the command again. Isa and Jaga should ask these the police to shoot into the crowd, into the soldiers. Again, he repeated the command that they should put the feet above their heads. So, after the second shot, after the second command, nobody fell. The British police officer took some of the rifles there and shot into the crowd.
Okay.
Now, really shocking to them, 60 of them got injured seriously,
Mhm.
while 3 of them have died. And as you now remember, it was Sergeant Ajit, Corporal Atiku, and Ogati, and
Private
Lamte.
Odate Lamte.
Yes. And of course, the monument of freedom's square is still there today. They are being killed at that spot. Now, immediately after that, there were riots in Accra, Cape Coast, and Kumasi for 5 days. And as a result of these riots and all that, there was a lot of confusion. Now, then the British government appointed a commission and a gentleman for the Watson. So the Watson committee looked into the matter to investigate and find out the causes of the problem, and also to come out with some suggestions and recommendations as to what to do. Now, this Watson committee did their job, and meanwhile, you see, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah had already in January that year had been made secretary of the United Nations Convention, UNGC. So, all this while, Nkrumah was busy campaigning on behalf of the UNGC.
Yeah.
Now, as a result of these riots and all that sort of stuff, I think that the British governor called, what is his name now, Fiji, the British governor felt that the UGCC was behind all these riots and all that. So that was when the six, the big six, were arrested and then exiled to the northern region, different prisons. They were spread into put separately in each of about 6 different prisons in the northern territories, which we now call northern Ghana. Now, immediately after that, the students at Cape Coast went on a rampage. They were demonstrating, for the big six to be released. Now, the police were sent there again, and then they shot into the students. Many were died.
Mhm.
Don't know the number now.
Mhm.
But you see, as a result of it, there was a lot of, I would say, disturbances throughout the country, especially in the south, not so much in the north, because I remember at that time, I was, as I told you, I just finished middle from 4, and I started being a pupil teacher in the north. So I know that in the north, those riot things occur. Now, so because of these demonstrations and all these other things like that, and also the British governor in Ghana felt that, well, if they didn't do something for releasing these people, there will be trouble. So, Nkrumah and the other side were released from detention. Now, but Nkrumah did not stop. He kept organizing because he was still the secretary of the United Nations Convention. So he kept organizing and all that sort of stuff. And it was in 1949 that, I don't want to go further. You were asking about that particular incident, so I just stopped here.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you very much for the vehicle on the happenings or the event as it took place some years back. But we celebrate this as a country almost every year. There's the commemoration done for these three that lost their lives and also the action. Well, obviously, in this country, we've seen rioting of different forms where violence also takes place as a result of that. And I was asking how significant the death of the three and the soldiers that were wounded just because they needed or they were demanding for what was rightfully theirs has impacted, how it's impacted in our lives as a country.
Well, you see, the thing is that it was all, the You see, it was a significant event, although they did not at that time think about independence and all that. But there were so many other factors which came on board to help, get the country towards our independence.
Mm.
As I said, immediately after the riot, just the people and all that sort of stuff, the big ships they arrested and held in northern region or
Yeah.
northern territories at the time. And then, of course, the Nkrumah being very active and all that. But you see, what happened was, Nkrumah was not very happy with the way in which members of the new GTC were not really as enthusiastic about getting independence as he was. So, the following year, at the Easter Convention held in Sorbonne, I think it was about 17th of April or so, he was there was a very heated discussion. There was lots of arguments between him and the UPCC convention, the UPCC people, the head leaders, the fight, the other side.
Mm.
Now, that meeting, that is when he extended his resignation, because he was not happy with the way in which he wasn't getting support, and that his colleagues did not understand this concept that we should have our independence. As soon as he did when he submitted his resignation, then the next thing he did was to form the Committee of Youth Organizations, CYO. Now, then beyond that, after that, he formed the CPP in 1949. He formed the CPP party and all that. Now, because of those riots and all that, there was this committee called a commission called the Western Commission. This Western Commission was appointed in the UK, in Britain, to come and look into the forces of the the forces of the political instability in Ghana, and to make recommendations. When that committee made its recommendations, it suggested that there should be certain steps towards giving us a little bit of self-rule. And it was because of that commission that one Justice Kuti of our High Court in Accra was asked to chair a commission that looks into coming together and look into how we can put up a constitution that will allow us to move a little bit forward. Now, when the committee, Kushi committee released this report, the government was not satisfied at all. His colleagues felt it was okay, but he said no. They didn't mention about independence and all that sort of stuff, or self-government at the time. That's how he called it. So, he went on campaigning, and because he was not satisfied with that report of the Kushi Commission, he announced that there should be positive action on the first New Year's Day, January 1950. So on New Year's Day, all the businesses, businesses and all that shut down. And as a result of, the economy becoming really difficult to run by the governor and so forth. That is why Nkrumah and 300 members of the CYO were arrested and jailed. And, of course, that did not solve the problem because as soon as he was jailed, I think K.A. Gedema, who was next in the most powerful person in the CPP, K.A. Gedema took over and then continued activities and so forth. Now, because of, in order to bring about some amount of peace, the governor decided that there should be some elections in so forth. And these were municipal elections that were held in Accra, Cape Coast, and Kumasi. They were not held in the northern territories. Now, as a result of these elections, the CPP won so massively that the UGCC, it was defeated terribly, very massively. So from then on, that election killed the UGCC, and it has never come up again to engage in active politics until it was later on revived in a way through KA this year, a little bit later. Now, as a result of the massive winning of that election, the municipal elections that were held in Accra, Cape Coast, and Kumasi, and Nkrumah's party once so overwhelmingly, and so the governor, at that time, a new governor has come in,
Mm.
and this new governor asked that Nkrumah be released, and then the same day that he was released, he was invited to the castle, and then showed for his government. And when he went to castle, and told the new governor, and he told the governor that the conditions were bogus and fraudulent, and that he in Nkrumah was going to intensify his action and eventually get to that point and let the self-government. So you can see that the 24th February incident where the three ex-servicemen were killed was not an isolated event, it was part of a chain that led to Ghana becoming getting its independence later.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Abudu. Well, that's a very lengthy one and a very clear one for us to understand. But now, every year, as the country commemorates this particular activity or event, to really remember some sort of remembrance given to the three that lost their lives as a result of that. As a country, quickly and in a brief way, or explanation, do you think we have learnt our lessons? Has this impacted on our um, military or our security services in this country? And is there any significance at all that every year or year on year, as we celebrate these three men who lost their lives, is there or has there ever been any significance to it or to us as a nation? Dr. Abudu, please come again. I'm asking that every year we celebrate, every year we commemorate the 28th February Crossroad event, where we remember the three that lost their lives as a result of the event. I'm asking if there has been any significance at all to impact the country that we have to even celebrate it moving forward. If there isn't, of course, someone will say then there's no need even commemorating it in the first place. But do you think we have learnt our lessons and it has impacted on the country as well?
Well, my feeling is that when we commemorate any event, when we commemorate any event, we should take most important lessons from that particular event and see how that we can teach our children what adults to practice. What we need to do in this country to get prosperous and find unity. Now, I think is that maybe we don't do enough of that.
Doc, your line isn't too clear.
Come again?
Your line isn't clear.
It's not clear.
Yes, so I can hardly hear you. From the last thing you said, I couldn't hear what you said.
Well, the thing is, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
What I'm saying is, celebrating an occasion like the 24th, the killing of those soldiers, the execution and all that, it's important that there is a lesson that we need to be able to draw from whatever happened and to practice whatever whatever will help us organize a cohesive and prosperous nation. So it's not just enough to celebrate, but we should also use the opportunity to give lectures to our children, remind our adults as to what we all need to do to contribute towards making our country come again.
No, I haven't asked anything, but I believe that's your last word.
I think that every occasion like every occasion of celebrations like this, we should try to use the lesson. We should, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. We should try to get more some lessons from the incident that we are celebrating in order to help all of us first to educate our children,
Children, okay.
let them see, because they cannot remember these things. Those of us who remember all these things and so forth, yes, it is very vivid in
True.
our thinking.
Mm.
But for the children, it's just an item in history. So we should use that to teach our children what we need to do
Mm.
in order that as they are growing up, they will become very useful citizens that will contribute towards making our nation cohesive, coming together,
Okay.
and then improving our conditions for the average citizen.
Okay.
And for us adults, we need to work together in order to also contribute towards making this nation cohesive and prosperous.
Mm. All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Abudu. Thanks for the time and thank you for the words. I think these are very strong words. Of course, the future is our children, and we will have to imbibe these knowledge into them for them to be able to become very useful citizens as well. Well, the adults also, we have our role to play. And like you rightly said, I hope that we'll take that in good faith and we'll all play our parts. Thank you very much for the time. We've been speaking to Dr. Abudu, a senior citizen and also former chief economist of the Bank of Ghana, who actually touched on the 28th February Crossroad event. And as the commemoration goes on, any significance at all that he shared with us. My name is Anastasia Badu, and we'll go for a quick turn. We'll return shortly with some more. Do stay.
On May 8, 1945, the Second World War came to an end.